You know what this hat reminds me of? That girl on TikTok who said the least attractive thing about men is when they don't wear their hat all the way. I feel like this looks like when guys like have it resting on the top of their head.
It's time for the 13 Nights of Saraween.
Hey besties, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we have sort of a chaotic reading vlog in store. As you can see from the thumbnail and me right now, I did dress as Mario for Halloween. My boyfriend actually went as Princess Peach. I'll insert our couple photo right here. I took that thumbnail photo on Friday when I was having my Halloween party and filming a different video, but I thought I would just put the costume back on for you guys. Unfortunately, I can't find the mustache, so we're just gonna have to deal with a very barefaced Mario. The reason that I think that this vlog is going to be chaotic is the fact that it is currently 11:38 p.m. on Sunday, October 30th, and tomorrow is Halloween. And I want to read at least 3 horror books before I have to post this video tomorrow. So for those of you who don't know, I'm currently doing the 13 Nights of Saraween, where I post a video every single day leading up to Halloween, and I've been doing really well so far, but this is the one video that I did not have enough time to pre-film, and so I knew that I wanted to do some sort of Halloween reading vlog, but I wasn't really sure what the hook was going to be, like what would the title of this video be. And so I think that I'm going to title this video something along the lines of I read 3 horror books in less than 24 hours. And here's where an even more chaotic layer comes in. I have a day job, so tomorrow I need to work, but I'm going to find a way to read at least 3 books. I need to, so I'm probably gonna stay up really late tonight. I know this right now, I'll probably stay up till like 3 a.m. So I actually already did an October TBR video. If you haven't seen it, I bogged for apples and it let me pick which books I would be choosing from for this video. I thought that I would be able to get to all 5 books, but I just don't think that's going to be the case. So let's go take off my makeup and get cuddled into bed for the night, and we'll start the first book. And then maybe in a couple hours, I'll give you guys an update. Okay, it's 1:30 on Monday. I do have work I need to do today, but I've been laying in bed listening to a book. So as you can see, I started Camp Slaughter, and I went into this because in my TBR video, I had a prompt where it was read a book that shows up in my subscription feed, and Jordaline was reading the sequel of this book, so I decided I would pick up the first. And so essentially this book is a slasher, and so it takes place at a really remote cabin in the middle of the woods, and there is a serial killer that is also a cannibal. And so at the very start of the book, there is a couple that goes to stay at the cabin, and he basically murders them and then kidnaps the wife, and that's sort of the prologue. And then getting into the story, we have a group of college age kids going to stay at this cabin, and so it kind of follows a lot of typical slasher tropes of there being a bunch of people going to a place and there being a murderer lurking. And I gotta say, I didn't really like this. I'm probably gonna give it like 1 star. One thing that made me kind of uncomfortable when I was reading this book is the fact that the serial killer guy seems to have an intellectual disability. There's a lot of lines about how he gets confused sometimes and he doesn't have a good memory, and that he's like not as smart as everyone around him, and he doesn't think properly. So for example, he kidnapped that woman, but he doesn't really take a sexual interest in her because they spend a lot of time talking about how his intellectual disability makes him process things differently. I just thought it was a kind of weird angle to take for a serial killer character. Like, it's something about that representation didn't sit right with me. I'm not like an expert on this topic, but I just personally didn't really like it. And then on top of that, there also was a random line at the very start where someone refers to someone being an alien because they were asexual, and I thought that line was just really out of place and didn't make any sense. And then to top all of that off, the writing itself just wasn't that fantastic. Like, I didn't love it. It wasn't really anything to write home about, and there are just way too many characters to be following, and I couldn't really keep them all straight. There was probably only like 3 or 4 main characters that I really knew who they were, and so overall it just wasn't that amazing of a reading experience. The slasher element was fun. Like, I think I would like to look into reading more slasher stuff because those typically are the type of horror films that I like to watch. So I feel like I would probably like that in book form. But I think that this one just really missed the mark and fell short. And I just really felt uncomfortable with the killer having that kind of aspect about him. I don't know. If you've read the book and you have any thoughts on it, I would be interested to see what your take is down below, but something about it just didn't sit right with me, and so I'm probably gonna give this book 1 star. I think I'm going to read Come Closer by Sara I next, which is a possession story. That is a short horror novella, so I think I'm mostly going to be reading novellas today because it is already, like I said, past 1:30, and I need to post this video no later than like 8 p.m. so I also need to edit it and like make the thumbnail. So we're trying to read quickly, so I think I'm going to read Come Closer next, and then we'll see if I have enough time for a third one because I really want to read at least 3 spooky things. Okay, besties, I decided to film my update while sitting outside because I was already lounging out here, but I'm not sure if these outside noises are going to be distracting or like ambient. I can't really tell, so I do apologize if it sounds chaotic out here. I have finished Come Closer by Sara I, and I really enjoyed it. I think I'm going to be giving it 4 stars. So this is a possession story about a girl named Amanda. At the very start of the novella, she notices that she's really acting out of character for herself. She's arguing with her husband more, she's doing weird things at work, she's getting some memory loss, and she starts wondering if maybe she's possessed by a demon. I really never expected a novella this short to pack such a punch. I really enjoyed the reading experience. I think it was also the perfect length because I could really see how a story like this could drag out if you were to do a full-length novel, but it was really sweet and to the point, and it was spooky, and it was kind of everything I'm looking for in a horror book. And so I'm wondering if maybe I should read horror novellas more often because this was just like such a perfect length. I just enjoyed it so much. One thing that kept coming up throughout the story was Amanda got this book that had a quiz in it that you could take to find out if you were possessed. And so throughout the story, she kept taking the quiz to see if she thought she was possessed, and it was really interesting to see how her answers would change as she went through the story. I really enjoyed the writing style, so I would be very interested in reading more from Sara I in the future. Also, she is a fellow Sara without an H, so we have to stan. Overall, this was just a really good experience. It was a cleanser after Camp Slaughter because Camp Slaughter just like wasn't doing it for me. And so we have one more book we're gonna try to read. It's currently 5:51. I did say I was gonna try to get this video up by 8. I don't think that's true. I think this is gonna go up at like 10 p.m. I am filming this live today. When you watch this later tonight, just know this was a few hours ago. So the next book that I'm going to pick up is The Patient by Jasper DeWitt. I don't think this is a novella, but the audiobook is only 4 hours. So maybe it is a novella. It's really short. So I'm gonna read that because we have no time, besties, and I just wanna read some short and sweet horror, but I don't really know what this is about. I just saw it on someone's channel and added it to my TBR, and I had it favorited here on Scribd. I will say that the beginning of the description says The Silent Patient by way of Stephen King. I've actually never read Stephen King, so I don't even know if I would like Stephen King. And I read The Silent Patient and I didn't like it, but perhaps this will come together in a way that I like it. I think while we listen to this, I might work on the thumbnail for this video, so maybe I'll film a little bit of us doing that. Oh my god, I just finished The Patient and it was stunning. Absolutely stunning. I'm pretty sure that's one of the best horror books I've ever read in my entire life. Like, I am putting that on my favorites of this year. It was so good. It was the perfect length. And I think it was a little bit longer than Sara I's book. I don't know if this is considered a novella. I looked up how many pages it was on Goodreads and it said 224. So I feel like that's a full-length novel, just like a shorter novel. I don't know. If you know what makes a novella, please let me know down in the comments because I feel like I never know the answer to that. Also, side note, I thought I would wear my hat for the conclusion of this video. Also, my hair looks really bad, so I was like, let's cover it. So in this book, we have a doctor that works at a psychiatric hospital, and they have this patient that has been there since he was 6 years old, and they think of him as a hopeless cause. Like, no one can diagnose what he has, and he hasn't been treated in a very long time because every time they try to treat him, everything just gets worse. And so our main character is a doctor that has a very kind heart, and his goal in life is to treat patients that other people have given up on because of his history with his mother having schizophrenia. And so he decides he's going to take it upon himself to treat this patient. And so the whole story is basically him writing what happened. What's really interesting about the format of this book is it sort of reads like a Reddit thread. So our main doctor guy is writing posts on some sort of forum telling people what happened, and then in between he's sort of responding to what people are saying, and they're all dated as he like gives the different portions of the story. As a frequent reader of Reddit, I really enjoyed this format, and overall it just really kept me interested, and I was just so curious about where the story was going, and it took some turns that I was not expecting, and I loved it so much. If they would adapt this into a film, I would die. Like, this would be so good and so scary. I really liked this. It kept me on the edge of my seat. Like, this is a 5-star read for me. I really can't think of anything I didn't like about it. Like, it was just so perfect in length and content, and the ending, I have so many theories about the ending. If you're a booktuber who I'm friends with and you've read this, please DM me so we can talk about it. I need to talk to someone about this book. It was so good. It was so good. I feel like reading 3 short horror books in the span of less than 24 hours is honestly kind of admirable. I'm very impressed with myself. Is the Saraween vlog going up pretty late at night? Yes, but we have to sacrifice somewhere. Please let me know if you've read any of these books down below and what your thoughts were. Also, if you have any horror recommendations for me, please let me know. I really enjoyed reading all 3 of these. It was just really fun to do. Also, this brings us to the last day of Saraween. We finally made it. I literally posted 13 videos in a row, which is an absolute feat considering the fact that I took a break from booktube for a couple of years, and 13 videos is more than I posted some years before this year. So we're doing pretty well. Please let me know if you enjoyed Saraween and if you'd want me to do this again next year. It was a ton of work, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm really proud of all the content that I put out. Also, if you've made it to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, feel free to use the jack-o'-lantern emoji to let me know in your comment. And thank you all so much for watching. You're all beautiful. Have a nice day.